And begin when ready.
So I'm Jessica Jones, and this is my presentation on comfort videos effects on high school students' stress levels in class. Okay, so some background information. There's a really big problem with anxiety, stress, depression, participation in high schools, and participation from high school students, especially upperclassmen as they move towards like graduation and going off into college and stuff. And it's been heightened by like COVID, preparing for college, adulthood, and just school in general, like the day-to-days of school. And then comfort videos are a phenomenon that have been known to calm people down when being watched. Okay, so some gaps. So comfort videos is a very unexplored topic, right? There's not much information out there. It's very new. Like, comfort videos have been a thing for a long time, but many people haven't really researched it. And it's very unknown to like the general public, that whole idea. And comfort videos also kind of have like a negative social connotation because of the whole idea of it being connected to technology and having too much internet time, and you're just too connected to like social media. So here are some carpet video examples. You have the top left, which is a carpet cleaning video. Many people find this comforting because of like the repetition of like cleaning the carpet, doing all this stuff, putting soap on it, then rinsing it, repeating. The top right is like a YouTube like streaming video. Many people find like playing games, watching other people play games is very comforting. The bottom left is, or the bottom right, I'm sorry, is like a satisfying video. So like things that like people, that satisfies the brain. And then the bottom left is like videos that many people like watch in the middle of the night. They're building a home. So like many people watch videos like this in the middle of the night when they just find comfort in it.
Just a second, that's still, there you are.
So my research question. So my research question was, how does watching comfort videos before class improve a high school student's mood, attitude, and productivity during the class? Okay, so some of my definitions. So productivity is just where your output matches or exceeds the effort you put in. So like whether you went into class and you were really like down or whatever, but then after class you got your work done, stuff like that. Participation is just the act of taking part in something. And something I came up with was called go-to actions, which was just common actions done like in response to like stress or something like that. There should be another slide for
Another slide?
we go back. There you go. Okay. So a comfort creator is just a person who makes like videos on social media that the audience finds comforting. So you have things like streamers, YouTubers, TikTokers, podcasters, Instagram people, all of those things. And then comfort videos are just like shows, movies, or videos that people like, that calms people down, right? Something that you can go to over and over and over again, and you can watch it, and it should just calm you down. Okay, so my hypothesis is since watching comfort videos tend to have a calming effect on people, I hypothesize that watching comfort videos before class will aid students in relieving stress, and it will in turn increase participation and productivity in class. Okay, so my importance. So first, problems in class. Students have a very big problem with stress, and then sometimes even engagement because they are stressed. And then it can also aid in class because it can help with that engagement problem. Then also the mental health of the students and the teachers, because if the students are like mentally healthy and like they are exuding that they're mentally healthy, it can aid the teachers in their mental health as well. And also just preparing for a class. The calming effects can like really help students get their mind prepared to go into class and really to participate. Okay, so my method of inquiry, I did an ethnographic study, and an ethnographic study is just a study of people in their own environment through the use of methods like interviews and observations and like really having that face-to-face time. So an ethnographic study gave me like more in-depth data, so like I could have really personalized responses from my participants. I'm just really understanding like what's going on through their mind and their thoughts, but then it also let me have a smaller pool of people. So like I can have more one-on-one interviews, really get really personal with them, and then also I'm able to observe them and really understand and watch what they're doing. Okay, so here's my steps. first I interviewed the AP US history teacher just to see like how would they rate the class as far as stress levels, participation, things like that. Then I did a pre-student observation where I just watched them in their natural habitat, what they do, how they act. And then I did a pre-student interview, plus I explained like what comfort videos are to them. So I had them like rate the overall stress levels for class. Do they see themselves like participating? Do they see themselves like distractions, things like that? And then I did a class, before the class I had them watch 3 to 5 minutes of their comfort video that they chose. And then I did a class observation after they watched their comfort videos. And after the class was done, I did a post-class interview just to see like, oh, how was class today? Do you think your comfort videos help? Stuff like that. And then I just repeated steps 4 through 6 3 times just to see if it was like a gradual thing. And then I compared their observations with their interview responses and then did a post-study interview with my participants, pretty much just saying, hey, this is what you did in your interviews, this is what you did in your observations. Can you explain it? So my materials, my participants needed a device to watch their comfort video on, so rather it be a phone, laptop, computer, tablet, whatever. I needed my computer, which housed my observation forms, so like all of like the marks of that I seen that they were doing, and then also my interview forms and questions. Okay, so my data interpretation. So to interpret my data, I compared my interview responses with the observations just to see if they correlate, if they don't correlate, why, to try to figure out why they don't correlate or why they do. And I also use participant feedback and also participant explanation, so them explaining why. Okay, so my data and results. So this is one table from participant 1. So participant 1, the blue bars are just your productivity rating, so how they rated themselves on productivity. Your red bars is your stress level, so how did they rate themselves that day for stress. And for productivity, it's from 0 to 10. 0 being not very productive and 10 being very productive. Same with stress being from 0 to 10, stress being not very stressed that day, and 10 being very stressed. And it's broken into 3 days, and then that last day is just for overall productivity throughout the whole study. That purple line is to show what they rated the stress level in class, like before the whole presentation. They're free to do the stress level rating. Okay, so my pre-video interviews. The average level of stress for my throughout my interviews was about a 7.25 out of 10. So I wouldn't say they said it's like very stressful, but like it also has its times where it's just not stressful at all. So it's kind of high, but kind of low. And they said that they mostly can participate and be productive, but it's very easy to procrastinate in class because you have a sense of freedom in class. And class can be overwhelming. They can get like really behind in class with their work, and it really can cause them a lot of stress. Okay, so my mid and post study interviews. Many of my participants felt that they left class better than they came in. So like after they watched their videos and they really had time for it to do its effects, they left class feeling a lot better. Most days they felt that they were very productive. Participant 1 said it was an 8, participant 2 said a 4, participant 3 said a 6.5, and participant 4 said a 6. So that's kind of like high, mid to high level. And then on average, they didn't really say that they were stressed. Like they said that participant 1 said a 3.5, participant 2 said a 2.7, participant 3 was a 2.5, and then participant 4 was a 4. So that's like really low. That's lower than like the mean or average. Okay, so my mid and post study observations. So most days they were very jittery. Like I seen a lot of moving around and stuff like that. And many of my participants caused like disruptions in class. So like they were getting class off topic, they were conversating, starting giant class topic discussions, just random things. And then I observed like many go-to actions. So like playing with your hair, moving your legs, fiddling with things, staring into space, playing with your phone, taking things apart, stuff like that. I just seen a lot of that going on throughout the class. So to compare my observations to my interviews, they didn't correlate at all. So like my interviews pointed towards like company videos actually working. Like that's what they said. They said it worked. They said they felt something. But my observations pointed towards it not working at all. Like they were still doing the same things that they were doing when I did my pre-video observations. And only really one participant said that their interviews and their observations like aligned with each other. Like and they aligned that it didn't work at all. So for my comparison interviews, when I asked them to explain like why it doesn't align with each other, they said that they felt a mental change but not a physical change. Like they felt calmer, even participant was saying they felt at peace, but like their body wasn't like told to like stop playing on my phone or like stop fiddling with my hair or like stop talking. But like in their brain they were like, oh, well, I feel better. I feel mentally prepared for class. So my interpretation of my data, it affects your mental response. So it really has no effect on like what you physically do throughout the day, but it affects like how you feel. So like you go into class, I was tired and now I feel like prepared for class. Even if I might go in and like start playing with my phone and stuff like that, I still felt in a better mood than how I was originally before I came into class. And then my implications. So it has a significant effect on your mental health, and it creates a new perspective in aiding in mental health. So like instead of just like always having to run to a therapist or like have to just like take a breather, maybe you could just pull out your phone and watch a nice comfort video just to get you back up there. And then it will also coincide with the technology-driven world because technology is always around us. I guarantee you probably have a phone in your pocket, or you might have like a laptop or a computer or something. So technology is everywhere. So that can really like go hand in hand with companies. And some limitations. So there was inadequate representation. I only had 4 participants, and 4 participants and 4 high school juniors can't really represent all high schoolers or all people in the world. And then some future problems. I see a problem with increased online binging because comfort videos connect you to like social media, things like that. It will lead to like a social media addiction or online binging. And then some uncontrolled variables. I couldn't like find a way to get my participants to focus on their comfort video. Like I wasn't going to sit over them and like say, hey, watch your comfort video, watch your comfort video. But that's going to skew like their responses. So I had no way of really regulating that. And also like scheduling issues, like not being able to like, okay, we're gonna do it this day, and this day. Sometimes I have to change the day because this person wasn't here, or like, oh, I couldn't get into class at that time, things like that. And then some recommendations for anyone trying to do like a study like this in the future. I say have a control group throughout the study rather than just comparing your observations in your interviews to what they said in the pre-observation, the pre-interviews. I say having a group of people that are specifically dedicated to being a control group throughout the study. They're having a group of people dedicated to watching the comfort videos. And I say you do it for a longer period of time. 3 days might not be enough. You might need to do it maybe for a week or even a month. And then also having consecutive observation days, so not skipping days or like not like changing like your schedule. And also having some type of regulation on the comfort video because everyone's comfort video is different. So like maybe your comfort video might work more than someone else's. And then future research. Some questions that kind of stem from my research here was like, how do comfort videos stimulate the mind? Like how watching a comfort video might get you to actually get up and do something. So rather just how it affects it, but how, like why does it do it? And then also, does the type of comfort video affect your mental or physical response to it? And then are like comfort videos connected to nostalgia? Like are those ones stronger than ones that aren't? Because nostalgia plays a really, really, really big part in like what we like and what we don't like. And then also, is there any connection from comfort videos to a person's past experiences? Maybe it's trauma or just like growing up. How does their comfort video connect to that?
Thank you. We have have 5 minutes for the panel.
Alright, I'll start. How did the choices you made when designing or implementing your research method impact your research process?
Well, the infographic study, like I wanted something more personal. I felt that like getting more personal responses and like being able to really understand how they feel would have been better. So like doing an infographic study really like helped with that. And like I think since the infographic study is more like interviews and observations, that really like allowed me to really like understand, okay, how does this work? Instead of me saying like, oh, we're gonna have you rated from here to like give me a number here. That's not, that you can say like, oh, I felt a 5 today. Well, what does that mean? What does a 5 look like to you? So I think that really helped with the infographic study, really helped with that.
Thank you. Justin, how did you handle the uncertainty of your research process?
So handling the uncertainty of my research process, it was quite hard because there were so many things that I just couldn't control, like having to control what video they watch, like that I couldn't do that because that's impeding on your responses. So I would say like trying to control the things that I could. So like the amount of time they could watch the cover video, when they watched it, stuff like that. Like controlling things that I knew might not affect how their cover video worked on them, and like not being like controlling things that like didn't like change how they would respond to it, things like that.
Justin, what are the real world implications or consequences related to your findings?
Well, like I said, it kind of deals with like your mental health. So like I think a really big real world implication could be just like aiding in mental health, like when you're having like a really bad day, or like say you're going through a lot and like you just need time to really decompress. Comfort videos might be able to help in that aspect. So like I think the real world, going out into the real world and really having to deal with your stress, to day-to-day stress, I feel like you can maybe insert comfort videos in there to really help you with that.
Okay. Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes, we
Yeah, I
have
have one
a little more than 2 minutes. Follow-up questions quickly?
Would you go back to your implications? So given what you just said, and given the lack of correlation that you pointed out earlier, right, in your study, how do you arrive at that first implication that there are significant effects on mental health? I mean, how are you so sure that there's something there to investigate? Is it solely on the basis of your experience, or?
Since like I can't like 100% say that it is because I only use 4 juniors,
Yeah.
but I kind of arrived at it from combining both my observations and my interviews and having them explain it. So like when I asked them, well, why did you say this here and this here? And they explained like, well, oh, it worked for my brain. Like I went into there and I felt better, but did that like correlation with how I acted? How did that not correlate with how I acted? No. So that's how I kind of arrived there. I really had them explain to me why, and that's like kind of the correlation I heard from all 4 of my participants, that like it worked mental but not physical.
Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate. This is kind of a hard question.
1 minute.
I apologize. So you interviewed 4 juniors, and you said there were many things you couldn't control. What they watched, when they watched, you couldn't watch them. So why do you think your findings are useful? What's the most important thing you found that was useful?
It's the important thing I feel useful. I mean, I feel like this, instead of it being like concrete, I feel like it can be like a stepping stone to further research. So like maybe they can use this as like a, probably not a basis, there probably won't be like a stable basis they can use, but it can be something to help like further research, like maybe someone doing it in the future, tweaking the study and like really finding out how they can do it. I think it will really, it can be used as like a stepping stone pretty much for further research rather than like concrete evidence.
Excellent. Thank you. We are out of time.